All right, let's go back to the stalls, and because everybody was kind of rushing to watch me, we didn't get to talk beforehand, so let's go talk. We placed on 1 out of 6 cards. And guess what? I truly don't care, because that was so fun. I've never shown like that. I've never shown Ethel. Ethel has only shown with a child on her back. She's never shown in an adult class or like a walk, trot, lope class, and especially not with 20 freaking horses all around her. And she was kind of like, you'll notice I was kind of to the inside the whole time. She was not loving the crowd. And so I felt like it was best for her to just get her out of the crowd, because sure, she probably would have shown better on the rail at some points, but it was okay. It's all good. We're gonna get her untacked and all hosed down now. Okay, so Molly, which y'all just saw a video recently of her first ride ever. So she's only been ridden like 5 times total. She is here as just like a little field trip, essentially. So the 2-year-olds, which we wanted to just make this show easy, so that's why it's only her, not Wally. She is here just to walk around, lunge around. If she's being perfect and it's quiet enough, maybe she'll get ridden. But that's not even necessarily the goal. The goal was for her to get on the trailer, to hear all these sounds, to be somewhere other than where she's comfortable at home, to have to be, you know, moved through lots of people and just like a different environment, right? And so she's not being shown. She's just here to experience the horse show environment. And so we're gonna go, this is the first time she's been out of her stall, and we're gonna just walk her around, take her up to the arena, let her just see things. And if she's keeping her wits about her, then we might lunge her. So let's go. Back in the day, like in 2017, I just brought my 2-year-old, which at the time was Annie, to this horse show. I was like, I'm just gonna ride her around. And I didn't do any of the crap that we're doing with these 2-year-olds for desensitization. Like, I just was like, well, I'm just getting on her. Well, I think we're just gonna go ride Kennedy now, because I'm showing her in the horsemanship tomorrow. And I don't know that we're gonna really film that, because we're just gonna be riding a whole bunch over the next 5 days. So we'll see you tomorrow. No, I got the fat genetic, but I also got the good hair genetic. So it balances out. We're trying to see if I can do a bun. So I have to do one ponytail first, then I'm gonna slick it down. You wanna time me? It's gonna be huge. I know. It's gonna be big. It's just gonna look stupid. It took 3 people to get them on me in Ocala.
Fourth, 820.
Get back in there. Get back in there.
Oh, big girl. Extend the trot, finish it, pick up your other lead, go straight, curve, stop, spin, 360 to the right, back, go out. That's this.
You got this. Okay, so I'm gonna watch the level 1 non-pro, which is my first horsemanship first, okay? So what happened was I went up there, started the pattern, and then they were like, no, don't go. And then they finally let me go, because apparently I think there was a mix-up as to what the pattern was, and so the judges were trying to figure out what pattern they were judging. But then they told me to go. I was the first one in. Okay, so the pattern was walk 8 steps. So she looks okay there. The one thing about Kennedy, she's just like, again, she's just kind of sitting on top of the bridle. So she's very up and down there, where I'd rather her go forward. So this is the slowest This is the slowest pattern you're ever going to see in your life. But she's being cute. She's soft. She is still kind of like ringing her head though, and I don't really know how to fix that. That's just kind of a her thing. So I hate that. She came down to the jog, but because, you know, she's a baby in this class, I kind of just let her go slow and then built her into a little bit more forward trot, but it's still so slow. That is not her extended trot. And then she got a little pissy at that lope off. You can see her just get a little twitchy, but she's still being soft in her feet and in her body. She just really doesn't love the contact. She's got to get used to it. She's got to get used to it. So then I'm going to stop, going to spin to the right. I had to let her get all 4 feet on the ground because she gets a little bit like uppity about the spin, and you can see I lost it in the last quarter of it. She kind of like spun out in the back, but then her back was good. And then, like I said, on the rail work, I mean, I think it was a combination of her just being a little upset that we weren't done. Again, not liking to be in the bridle. So I've got a shorter rein. She wants to be pitched away. And then I do think she was just really upset with how close some of the horses were. Okay, moving on to the second one where I schooled. I feel like my position looks okay. One thing is my left shoulder really dips down some, so I got to work on that. She started the pattern really soft, just like the other one, if not better than the first one. So I was like, oh, okay, like this might be better. She's still a little bit above the bridle. Like I'd like for her to be down and like in my hand more. Like you can still see she's just throws in these little crappy head shakes. Comes down to the trot, same thing. I come down slow and then build. And like where I build her to would be my normal jog. Like it's so slow. We were just going for soft and correct. And then when I go to low prop, that's when she just got real crappy with me and just threw her head up. I did not ask hard. I promise you. And so I just took 2 hands. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk to the judges, but I was like, this is her first day. Sorry. I just made her do a little circle. And then she came right back and really like looked cute. That's not quite as forward as I would want her to go in the horsemanship in the future. It's very slow. I want her to go more forward in the horsemanship, but we have to start somewhere. And so I stopped her really soft, kind of adjusted my seat and just made her sit and stand for a second since I was already schooling. And then I did an extra spin because her MO is she wants to stop too soon. And so since I was in a schooling mode, I just made her keep going. And it wasn't a perfect spin, but it wasn't terrible. She's got a little bit wackadoodle in the back, like in her hind end. So yeah, things to work on. All in all, was it the worst she could have done for her first time horsemanship? No. But like I said, she wasn't very, we call it like knocked down. Like her energy level wasn't knocked down. She was very up. She was very fresh, which I think contributed to a lot of that. I think she would have been a lot more tolerant of everything had she been in a better state of mind. Yeah, not the worst, not the best. So let's look at Ethel's go now. I have not watched Ethel's go at all. I had peeked at the horsemanships before we filmed this, so we're walking in here. So this is the ranch riding. This is a set pattern. They have like 6 or 7 patterns that they always choose from. I was a little bit worried about her on these walk logs, but she made it through. I was kind of worried she wasn't gonna have a long enough stride. She's got really cute expression because she did get a little spooked. So she got a little scared of the end of the arena when there wasn't any horses in there. You can see here she's like, ugh. And so she turned a little bit early and I just kind of went with it since I was showing. And I just kind of made that my path. So that's cute. In a perfect world, she'd be more collected. And then you can see I like leaked into the trot instead of like having a definitive transition because she just, I think it got her rattled a little bit, but then once we got into the trot, it looked so cute. That's so cute. Her little extended trot, Ethel, all you gotta do is put your ears up, baby girl. Oh, that's cute. And then we came down to the trot. I just sat and let her sink back to the regular trot. Then we turn here and lope off on the left lead. Let's see. So I would have loved for her not to have popped up out of the bridle quite that much, but then the pace was really cute. She does not have a lead change, so we did a simple lead change. So she broke down to a trot, picked up the other lead. That was really good in my opinion. We've never done that, okay? And then it was an extended lope. I think that's super cute for Ethel. I think that's about as good as I could have asked her to do. And then I do think I probably could have asked a little bit differently here for her to come down, but at the same time, she was trying to drift really hard to the right, so I was trying to keep her straight. So I do think I looked a little bit like disheveled. And then she kept wanting to go back up into the lope when I came down to the trot. But then we went to the walk. So that like last couple of maneuvers I think was sloppy. Everything else I feel like was pretty okay for her first time. And then let me see these spins. We back first. She backed way softer than she did in the rail, which was great. We're improving. A little slow to start in that spin, but then she got going. She stuck that hind end in the ground. And then the other way, not the worst it could be. That was pretty cute. I don't think I could really say too many bad things. That was her first time ever. We didn't even practice the pattern. So yeah, I don't think that was terrible, but it was a good starting point for both of them. We have a lot to work on. So we have 3 more days to do that at this show, and then we have stuff at home afterwards. So now knowing all of those things, I'm very excited to go into these next classes and see if I can't improve on myself. You'll see.
Well, and I think too, like, if you need to school, you can school, and it's just a good opportunity to just get around that pen. Is the senior before level 1? Okay.
I didn't do that. When I was skinny, I would just leave them zipped, and I would just like slip them on, and then have my dad come behind me and like pick me up. Now we're ready. Kennedy knows how to do Western pleasure. That's been what she has been the most successful at. That is not something I know how to do. I've never shown her the Western pleasure except with like my all-around horse, and I showed it like it was the horsemanship, you know? So we're gonna go see how it goes. She's wearing all of my old garb from when I was back in my show days. So I think this head stall I got when I was like 16, about 14 years ago. So it's got a K, which is for Katie, but now it's for Kennedy as well. And my Harris saddle, and we're wearing my like ranchy stuff. We're just kind of doing whatever we want, you know? So let's go see if we can make it through. So like going into it, I did feel like I was a little bit more reserved, just because yesterday when I showed her, she was a little bit more just like not as settled. She definitely didn't like the contact of yesterday, but as soon as I got on her and like started riding her like a pleasure horse, which is what she's done in the past and what she's been so successful at, she seemed to just settle in and be so much more content and happy and chill. And even though I felt that difference, I still was a little bit more reserved in that first class, which was the level 1 amateur Western pleasure. And so I just didn't quite like sink into it as much and trust her, I think. And I think I still have more room to trust her more. Like I think the next time I show her, I will trust her to do her job even more. With that being said, she was still super soft looking. Let me see here. You know, in the jog, you're trying to get a 1-2 beat. You're not wanting to let them fall out of it and be like a 4 beat. You're wanting them to be true trotting, but slow, soft, level top line. And I think she was doing that pretty good. I do think I see a couple times where maybe when I went in with my legs, she would get a little off, and that's where I have to learn how to ask with my legs for things without affecting her rhythm, you know. That's just a learning thing for me. But I feel like it's a super cute picture. I really like my shirt on her. She looks really, really content. Ears are forward. That's great to see because that was not the case yesterday. Oh, that's cute. I love her long mane. Okay, let's see the lope. Let's get over to the lope. Where are we at? I love that in the Western Pleasure, I get to wear a ponytail. Okay, so the first lope off, I can't really see her because she's on the wall. Kate's right in front of me. That's the thing. This show wasn't big, but there are some sneaky nice horses at this show. So I do think she was maybe a little over-canted this direction. That's where I myself have to find the balance of pushing her forward, not necessarily just over-canting the crap out of her. Over-canting means like her hip is just super far inward. So I think we can find a balance there. But once I can see what Stephanie's talking about with, she gets a little just like quick and stompy at the very beginning, but then she like settles into it. So at the very beginning of that lope, I can tell, yeah, just a little harsh, but then she gets on that straightaway and softens out. And that looks pretty dang cute. That looks pretty dang cute. Okay. She looked like she was like, okay, just let me freaking do it. So came back to the jog, super soft, super cute. They had us reverse at the jog. She's fine with that. So in the first class, and it was right across from you, so I know you got it on camera and I know you saw it. So when I got over to the wall where they asked for her to lope again, this is where the trust didn't come into play. Kennedy has such a big lope off. I asked her to lope. She went to go forward. I got scared and just stopped asking. So then she fell out into a big trot, and then I had to just stop her and lope her off. And every freaking judge was looking at me. So that just looked terrible. That's exactly what happened. That's terrible. And then she got into it. She settled. It took her about 30 strides to settle. Mainly me to settle. I picked up my hand and like schooled her just a little bit. And then I was fighting for my life to get her back on the rail. But at least she looked real fancy off the rail. So that's okay. That looks cute. After it settled in, it looked really cute. Okay. And then after that the whole thing was done. So I think even on that direction, she still just didn't settle perfectly because I kept trying to get her over. I think the second class, I did way better in that. So let's move over to the second class, shall we? Let's see. Jogged in. She felt even softer. I think, again, I was just like trusting her more the second go. Because here's the thing. When horses show as much as Kennedy showed, sometimes they have some habits in those rail classes where like they listen to the announcer, they anticipate, they have these like little quirks. Like rail horses that all they did was like the Hunter Saddle or the Western Pleasure, they've got these weird quirks. And I was kind of expecting her to have some of those. And maybe she does and she just hasn't unveiled them. But she looks super soft, felt super soft, way like happier. And I like that her neck wasn't super far down because sometimes like they just bury their head, and she really kept her head nice and level. So the first lope off was way better. She did shake her freaking head, but they look cute. Yeah, I trusted her way more the second go. That lope, she's really, like, she's got her ears forward. Neck is, like, even a little above level. She's rocked back. I do think that we could probably slow those legs down without necessarily losing our forward motion. Because that's the thing. We want a more forward lope than probably what I have, but we just don't want really quick. We want her to softly place her feet. That's cute. Let me see. Where do we get to? She came to down to the jog. Great. We had to reverse once again at the jog. And so this time, knowing that she gets a little bit like, okay, I want to be off the rail, I took her right back to the rail at the jog. And here's the thing, I don't hate that she's like okay being off the rail, because in a big class, that's probably where I'll end up showing her. Like, I think she'll be happier off the rail, and that's great. Some horses, you can't even get them to get off the rail, so that's fine. It's just she can't just go on autopilot. That's the problem. I mean, just about every time I like lope her off, I feel like it takes about 30 strides for like me and her, not even 30, maybe 20, for me and her to like jive and really just like chill out and settle. So I think that just shows we just need more time and like getting used to each other. But that looks pretty dang cute. That looks pretty cute right there. I'm not mad at that. We actually have like less than 20 minutes to make it up to the front of the arena, because there's a class that I sponsored. It's the VS Code Red Western Pleasure Challenge here at the Lucky 7, which is $5,000 added to a non-pro Western Pleasure class for 4 years and over. They can't have one more than $5,000 prior to January 1st. So it's like a limited horse class. Gives just like a really cool option to some of these horses that waited a little bit longer in their career, that didn't do the 2-year-old and 3-year-old stuff. And then they do a pro version the next day. And then if you both showed the same horse, there's an award for like the cumulative score for the highest scoring horse. And then we're also going to be watching the VS Code Red Versatility, the English Versatility. So that's what's warming up right now. The English Versatility is a class that I am so excited about. It is for an open division and a non-pro division. It's a pattern class that allows your horses who maybe haven't jumped yet. You're trying to train to jump. You're trying to train a horse to be an eck horse. You're trying to, or maybe you have an older horse that can't jump anymore, or maybe you as a rider don't want to jump, but it has all of the elements for a hunter horse. So you've got the extended trot, you've got the hand gallop, you've got cavalettis or ground poles to go over. It's for a forward moving English horse, and it is based on the horse. And so it's a really cool class that I'm excited about. So that's what's warming up now. If you think you have a horse that would be great in that at AQHA shows, I highly recommend you look up which shows have this class going forward. If you're curious about that class, I actually did a whole YouTube video that's only about the English Versatility, so we will link that in the description, or if you just want to go type in Katie Van Slyke English Versatility, it'll pop up and it has the entire explanation, because I really think this is a class that has been needed within AQHA, and I think it's going to bring a lot of goodness to the English side of things. So go check that out as well.
Overall results now for our limited horse, non-pro Western Pleasure Maturity. This class is sponsored by VS Code Red. Helping us present awards today, the owner of VS Code Red, Katie Van Slyke. Katie, thank you for joining us. And now let's hear it for the champion of our inaugural VS Code Red Non-Pro Western Pleasure Maturity Challenge, 667 RL Dream Take Flight. Owned and shown by Mare of Mount Airy, North Carolina. Congratulations. Victory pass now for our champion of the VS Code Red Non-Pro Western Pleasure Maturity Challenge.
So we're bringing both of my mares over pretty much daily. We skipped yesterday, but almost every day of the show, we've been bringing them over to the Salty Mare, which I love that name so much. So they're gonna get into a little spa treatment. The water's 34 degrees, full of Epsom salt. It's gonna be great for drawing out inflammation. It's gonna be great for increasing blood flow and just like giving them a little sense of like, you know, faster recovery. Maybe a little relief, maybe a little like at first numbing sensation, which is why we don't do this right before we show. You know, we're doing it in their off time. But here, you know, they're walking on concrete in their stalls. It's not nearly as cushy as at home. You know, they're in a different atmosphere. They're being ridden harder than they probably ever are. Like at a horse show, you're never gonna ride as much at a home as you do at a horse show. And so this just gives them that much more care. And I think it's great that they have it here. She's got to look at it a little bit today. On the trailer she goes. We did leave her earplugs in, which I think does help a bit, but she looks so much more, I don't know, settled in for this time, which is great.
Did you say the salt is twice the density of like the Dead Sea, so you just float in there? Be pretty fun. We feeling a little funny? She did better this time. The first time she's a little weirded out by it. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's go to the Western Pleasure Challenge.
On Judge Judge's card, first place, 667. Second, 645. And now put your hands together for our champion. Entry number 667, RL Dream Take Flight. Taft Dickerson of Mount Airy, North Carolina, showing for Caitlin Barrett of Mount Airy.
We gotta get all the stuff. Awesome. You do it.
Congratulations
Do it.
once again to
Do
our
it.
champion,
Do it.
RL Dream Take Flight.
Taft,
Taft
victory
Dickerson
lap.
showing for Caitlin. So now the victory pass for your champion. RL Dream Take Flight. Shown by Taft Dickerson for Caitlin Barrett.
Ranch riding did not go how we thought it was gonna go. Or not even how we thought, how we hoped it was gonna go. It's like a conflicting thing because I think she looked better today. I think she was going around better, but you know, we watched her be a little hunter pony all morning. My best friend's little girl rode her and showed her and won and had the best morning. So I'm not gonna blame it on that because I would have done that in a heartbeat and we will continue to do that. But it kind of just made it to where we weren't really like prepping her all day the way we normally would have. And so it's like I did these classes that I'm about to show you and talk to you about. And then I'm gonna let y'all watch what she would have looked like had she been in the right frame of mind. Because about an hour, I wanted to make her act right, so I kept riding her after the classes, and then she just suppled up and settled in and like was ready to show. So I think the next show, now we know like kind of some prep things for Ethel specifically. This was our first show ever. Her first show doing this. Like, this was such an experimental thing, you know? So with all that being said, let's watch these patterns. So this is the ranch riding pattern. It's kind of like Western riding. They have set patterns. So it was trot and it was like a big square. She looks super cute. She's in the bridle. You know, if we ever get to like an end point, I think it would be cute if she didn't have to be quite so in my hand bridled, like a little looser rein. But I thought it was super cute. She looked a lot more expressive today. So those trot poles were pretty okay in my opinion. But then I'm gonna pause for a moment before this, well, whatever this was, okay? I guess wasn't super perceptive. On the pattern, it said side pass. I did not know there was a pole, did not see the pole until I was going over the trot overs. That is when I saw the pole. And that was when Ethel saw the pole. And we had not practiced that. That was just not anything we knew how to do at that moment. So, side passing, they're supposed to kind of cross over in the front and the hind and just go sideways. And that's not happening. Still not happening, and we just abort mission. I'm like, you know what? We'll just skip. We'll just skip it, which immediately disqualified me. So then I'm just like, all right, we're just doing it for fun at this point. Cute little spin. Ethel does not. Ethel does not spin super fast, so that was pretty good. Got into her lope. It took her like a few strides to get settled in, but then it was cute. I was supposed to be doing an extended lope here. I just didn't push her super hard. I just kind of did the same lope the entire time. Like at that point, I'm like just wanting a cute little go around, you know? So she goes around the end, looks cute. I'm supposed to come down to an extended trot, and we were kind of having issues with that outside. So we came down. It took me a couple strides to establish the trot. I started posting, and then pops up into the lope. And then, yeah. So then I just start over. Then I'm just like, all right, we're just gonna turn around and lope off. What can you do at that point? The lope off was cute. She looks super cute in that lope. Love her frame. Don't love the head shake. Let's see. She goes around really cute there. Stays in my hand. I think the pace is really cute as well for her. I hate the head thing. And again, it's just kind of something we've been battling. She walks cute. Gets into the little jog cute. I kind of bridled her up. And then she's got a really cute expression. Her stops, like I try to stop her off of her feet and she just gets real angry about it. So I don't know if we need to kind of change the way she's trained, because she was trained to spur stop. I don't know if we need to really start working on like woeing with our feet out. I don't know. We'll figure that out. So that was her first go. Let's run her back. Let's go to the other one. All right, we're walking. I had her in the bridle, was checking on her before I got her up into the trot. So again, probably a little over bridled, but we were going for control at this point. Super cute legged though. She gets a little bit sticky, a little stuck in her shoulders.
Barbecue mac and cheese, baked beans, salad. I think they've got some desserts up there.
Sorry, hold on, rewind. All right, first pull. Not bad. Not bad at all. Stopped. She still did a little bit of that stuff, but not bad. All right. And then here's where that was just on me for having her in the wrong spot, because she side passed this time. It just, I had her 6 inches too far forward, you know? And that's just on me not having practiced that and setting her up incorrectly. And she was the one that listened that time. The spin, she stuck her little booty in the ground. Do I wish her head was down and in the bridle? Yeah, I do. That's not where we're at. So it was cute. Lope off, good. I didn't really send her super hard this time, but I definitely sent her a little bit more. Super cute in my opinion. I think that's probably should be where her like regular lope is. And here's where she takes the world's longest poop. World's longest poop. So I'm just like trying to keep her in the lope, and she's like doing weird crap in her hind end because she's crapping. We come down to the trot, and again, it looks so weird because she's pooping. I start posting. She's just kind of sticky. She's just not going as forward as we had practiced, but like once she settles into it, it's really, really freaking cute. Like it would have been good had she not decided to take a dump right then. Lope off is cute. Lope off is very cute. Her lope is super cute. That's like probably the cutest she's looked. Way better. Come around. Super cute. Heck yeah. Gives me a lot of hope. I would, in a perfect world, have rathered when she came down to the walk that she like, you know, stayed down in the bridle. Super cute little walk. And then I did kind of let her go a little more forward in this trot, and I thought it looked better. I like that pace better. Again, I know she's over bridled. That stop was way softer, and then as soon as I'm like, let's back up, she's like, again. So that's things to work on at home. I think part of her backing is due to like, you know, in the past she's had stifle stuff, and we do vet work on her stifles, but I do think that's probably where she's lacking in fitness. You know, like I think if she did have any soreness from being at a horse show, being ridden this much, it probably would be in the back. So yeah, I had a lot of hope for that second one. There was still a lot of improvement from number 1 to number 2. So we got to be happy about that. I do wish we hadn't pooped, but what are you going to do? It's going to be hours before the next class. And so we all decided we're tired. Ethel's tired. Let's just go home. Right? We're 30 minutes from home. This show was meant to be a fun show, and I just don't think if I stay for those classes, I'm going to be having fun. I think I'm going to be tired. I think I'd rather go home and get in bed by 10 tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, like I said, I rode her around to make sure that she got supple before we ended, and we filmed it. So I'm just going to let y'all watch what Ethel would have looked like in the ranch rail, because I think she would have looked better today than the first day. So that's why I'm bummed, but here she is.
zippers are like a little
Ow! Hold on. So that was the last class of the day, last class of the show, because I'm skipping horsemanship. That's the thing about this show in particular. It's our first one back, first one for my mares back. They've only been back into training for like 2.5 months. So if it's not something that we're setting ourselves up for success and having fun with, we're just not doing it. And we want to go home because today is move out day. And before we get into the night, because it's going to be a longer day, we were like, you know what? Let's just do pleasure. I have a goat that's trying to have babies, so we want to go home and be there for that. So we're loading the trailer up as we're untacking the horses, and there's a dog going crazy in the background, which you can probably hear. But it's been such a fun show. It's been amazing. I didn't win anything. Rebecca actually won stuff, and I didn't, which she's going to let me hear about. And I had so much fun. So let me know what you liked about this video. Let me know what you want included in future horse show videos. And just stay tuned for more because I'm back in it.